I made a mistake. I haven't been driving this scoop tractor very much. I mostly been driving that one, and of course my little one. Anyway, I forgot that scoop tractor can't back up, and I got it stuck here. I pushed this, I had a bunch of I've been throwing this straw up here, and the straw was clear up to here. So I thought, well, I'll just push it down into the rest of the pile, and I forgot. This tractor won't back up. And under good conditions, and these aren't good conditions. And so I was fooling around with that scoop. Now that scoop, I could jerk it back a little, although it doesn't have push down. But then as soon as I'd try to get another bite, it would slide right back forward where it was. So then I was putting these blocks under it. I push it back a little, shut it off, put the blocks under, and then that wasn't really working. I tried to pull it with that little tractor. It doesn't have enough even, and this has got like no traction in reverse. If it had some traction in reverse, maybe both of them could get it out. But so then I started fooling with it a little bit, and I pulled it over with this. So I pulled it forward. Now it looks impossible, like I've got to drive through that big, like I've got to drive up a mountain. But I think it might make it, but I don't know. So I'll turn this on and we'll just see. But that's just a bunch of soft stuff. I could shovel it out first. Let's see what it does. Another funny thing is I don't have power steering. I've got to get those cylinders worked on this winter. Well, now I'll just get below it. I can get below it and push up, and it'll be all right because it can back down a hill. It just can't back up a hill. I guess I should specify that when I say it can't back up. It can't back up a hill. What else was I going to say? Oh, I had these cylinders rebuilt. Well, now it looks like that's leaking a little bit. I'll be damned. But I've had them sitting up like this. It'll sit like this for days. But anyway, I'll tell you what, it's nice to have new stuff. New stuff is better than old stuff. I guarantee you. It will back up with that monster baler hooked up to it. That thing is incredibly heavy, especially the tongue and that one and this left wheel, right with the wheel you're looking at. A lot of weight on that wheel. The other wheel's like an outrigger. But anyway, I had a block under it, so I had to back up to get out from under the block, and it backed it up. So if I had what it is, it's a cantilever. There's so much weight on that scoop. It puts a lot of weight on those front wheels and takes weight off the rear wheels. And you can put water. I don't want to put water in the wheels. What I need is a cantilever weight that'll rotate over the rear wheels and pull weight off the front wheels. Pull weight off the front wheels and put them on the rear wheels. Then it would back up. Actually, when I bought it, the guy stuck a round bale of hay on the back of it for me to drive it around. But then it slipped off while I was driving it. But he didn't really tell me it can't back up. But that's what you get. Actually, you know, I think he did kind of tell me, because he said I think we did kind of talk about it a little bit because that's why he put that bale on. He told me that's why he put that bale on the rear end of it. The sun's going down, but I wanted to get this video made real fast about, I decided to make decorative bales. And like this one here, that one's about just average. This one was real light, but I've got all this thatch here, and I don't want to need it for food. This here probably isn't too bad, you know, but I don't really need it anyway. And then this is Johnson grass, which they will eat when but it's kind of stemmy. It's too stemmy. And here's this one here. I think is light. Yeah, see, it just hardly doesn't weigh very much. But look, it looks like a bale. I thought for a decorative bale. As I say, it could be used for hay, probably, but like I don't really need it. And there's a lot of weeds. I mean, look, see all the weeds? Look at it. It's terrible. But anyway, the other thing I was going to say is this old tractor is pretty strong. And then this old baler is the same. They're quite a team. I'll show you too when I start it up. I need to take a link out of this. I need to take a link out of this. Wait till you see how it runs. And this thing isn't very good. It needs to be longer. You know, I've already showed you my pin thing, which I guess it'll make it. I maybe should put another thing of tape on it. Hold it a little better. So, funny thing is, this This thing's pretty strong too. It'll pull this thing up the hill, and that baler's heavy. That baler's way heavy. Plus, it pulls it up the hill while it's turning. And I've never done full throttle. I don't even know what full throttle does. One other thing I wanted to say was, so I got all this thatch. One reason I'm doing this, I've thought about burning it, and I've got that rake, and I have burned it, but it's tedious. Burning it is tedious. I got a spot right here where I did it. And maybe you imagine you could make a long row, like you rake it in a long row. I guess I imagined it, and it just burned right down the row, but it's just more work, and it's more work than you could imagine. And like this here where I burned it, it was a big pile. It was one big pile, and I just burned it. And then it seems like I burned some other piles while I was at it. I don't see them here, but anyway. See this? One thing I'm thinking about doing with this is run the disc over it. Oh, that was another thing. Instead of making these bales, one idea, see how this is all thatch right here? I was going to run the disc over it and just kind of grind it up. And then another idea I've had is I'm going to plant winter wheat right here. This is real good dirt right here. But it's loaded with Johnson grass. And but winter wheat, I was thinking if I plant winter wheat, maybe it'll grow during the winter when the Johnson grass doesn't grow, or early spring. And then by the time it's ready, or maybe a little before it's ready, the Johnson grass won't be too high. So I'll have like straw, because I need straw. And actually some of these bales here I could call them straw. But straw is not straw is nice, it's better. Oh, here's a place where I burned. But it's just more work than you would imagine. It's more work than you can really imagine. Than it should be, like so much else. And actually making these bales is pretty easy. Comparatively easy. Now the only other problem is at this point I have to pick up the bales. Plus another thing that is a problem when I'm going down the row like this, it drops the bale, and then the bale is in my way when I make the next pass. So what I'm doing, I guess what I'm doing wrong maybe, of course when I used to do it in Iowa, we had a wagon back here, and I would stand behind the tractor and pick up the bales and stack them on the wagon. But if you're going to drop them on the ground, I guess so I'm going this way, so I got all my fresh hay is over here, and I'm driving this way, so I'm not driving on the hay. If I did it the other way, so my fresh hay is over here, then it would drop it, and I could just skin it. See, it still would drop it. It's going to pick up the hay here. It's going to still drop it, and then the new hay would be over here. So this wheel here would hit the bale. As it is now, I'm driving right up on the bale with the tractor. If I drove on the hay, then I'd still have to move it because this wheel would hit it. If it dropped it like the round balers, they drop it right behind. So if it dropped it right here, I might could get away with it better. You might could make a curved chute and push it over this way a little bit. But it wouldn't help me the way I'm doing it. The way I'm doing it and the way I'd rather do it, so I don't drive on the hay, I'd need to push it this way. But that would be possible too. If you could push it over this way. I wonder if they make something that does that. You could extend this thing. I don't know. But But anyway, it's kind of a problem. You have to keep getting up off the tractor, stopping, and moving those bales. Like I say, with those round bales, that's what they use around here, those round bales. It drops it immediately. It comes out basically right here. It's picking up the hay right here, and it drops it right here. And there isn't all this stuff over here. It's just this part. It's narrower. And you do drive on the hay too. It follows immediately behind the tractor. So the tractor does drive on the hay. But then again, if the hay is raked and windrowed, it'll go between the wheels of the tractor. But then I don't know why it wouldn't get caught up right here. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm kind of new at this a little bit. Like when I was a boy, I made hay. But it was the farmer. My problem was stacking it. I really didn't have the problem of figuring out if it's wet enough, dry enough, if the baler worked and all this stuff. All I had to do was stack it. So anyway, that's my story today. I'll post this probably. Unfortunately, it's not the kind of a sunset we usually get. There's the moon right there. Now the moon was over there. The moon changes every day, and I took a picture of it. It was coming right at sunset. It was right there. But since then, now it's like about 3 days or 4 days later, it's clear over there. And it's a little fatter. It was just a sliver when it was on top of the sunset. Funny how the moon's like that.